Hello, my name is José Antonio García Zamudio.
Hello, my name is Wilfredo Lagunes.
Hello, my name is José Antonio Mayo.
And we are all in third semester of high school in Tec Monterrey.
Yes, our problematic that we're going to talk about is the contamination of Mexico. And I hope that you enjoy the video.
Currently in Mexico, there are several laws and regulations which regulate the environmental aspect. However, this doesn't mean that before there were no laws to prevent such problem. Before the 1970s, there were several laws that referred to the use of natural resources. Although these laws didn't take into account the aspects related to the conservation and recovery of natural resources. That is why 3 decades ago the environmental law arose, which took action before this.
Every year, studies are made, and last year's research shows that the pollution has increased, and one of the main causes of pollution in the seas is the discharge of wastewater from cities located in the coast areas. The United Nations Organization in 2010 recognized that the right to safe drinking water and sanitation is an essential human right for the full enjoyment of life and all human rights. The right to have clean and healthy water means having the necessary water, both for personal and domestic use free of microorganisms, chemical substances, and radiological hazards that constitute a threat to human health. Water must have acceptable color, smell, and taste for both personal and domestic uses. In Mexico, the human right to water was recognized in February in 2012 and is embodied in the fourth article of our Constitution. Establishes that every person has the right to access, dispose, and clean water for personal and domestic consumption in a sufficient, healthy, acceptable, and affordable way. Mexico is surrounded by the Gulf of Mexico, the Pacific Ocean, and the Caribbean Sea, and by the Sea of Cortez, or better known as Gulf of California, which is considered an UNESCO natural heritage. The government doesn't give an adequate treatment to the wastewater, and this becomes a serious pollution problem, especially in the Gulf of Mexico. Pollution in Mexico is becoming a serious problem as large companies, through corruption, pollute rivers that flow into the seas. In turn, this contamination is a risk to human health, and the problem is the lack of regulation or the lack of application of the law to stop polluting the seas. An example of the seas being contaminated is the vaquita marina, which is one of the most endangered species. Scientists have calculated that there is only approximately 30 in the entire Earth. Fortunately, measures are already being taken, and many people are currently becoming aware of what it means to pollute rivers and seas and to eliminate marine species which are part of the ecosystems that provide us with health and well-being. Another good news for the vaquita is that the International Treaty Court, along with the Animal Welfare Institute and the Biodiversity Center, ordered the Trump administration to ban imports of Mexican seafood caught or married to fishing nets, because there are not only do they catch the fish they want to fish, but they also catch other wasted species, which most of these species are in danger of extinction. For several years, pollution in Mexico has become an increasingly alarming problem, due to the fact that due to the increase in population, human beings are contaminating the world more rapidly. The factories, the traffic, the excessive use of plastics and petroleum products are causing the greenhouse effect and global warming, which means that we have to take urgent measures to stop destroying endangered species and natural resources.
There are many things that we have to do to prevent the pollution in our planet. One thing is to maintain cars and use them in a responsible manner, like use more bicycles and more walking or using the public transportation. In that way, the CO2 emission are going to reduce, and in that way we protect our ozone cape and our air that be more clean. Another thing is to avoid buying these disposable items and plastics that are not biodegradable, because that plastic and bags and bottles, the time to decomposition is like thousands of years, and this can contaminate a lot of earth. And another thing is to recycle. If we recycle, industries can reutilize the plastics to make new bottles or new kind of things, and we are going to reduce the products that are thrown and contaminate in our planet.